to rest since they got in like at 5 in the morning as he got back. And then last week, because of the nature of his job, he's unable to be here. But he's wanted to share a little bit of the experience and everything that went into it and everything. So Luke, thank you. And there you go.
Well, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Luke Ames. I wrote this down because I didn't end up forgetting stuff and not doing it in chronological order. But nonetheless, I grew up in this church. I went to Guatemala this year for my first mission trip ever. I went down there to not only help them in any way I could, but also to become a stronger Christian myself. I had no clue what to expect when I was going down there, but I knew I'd be able to help them, and I'd also help my own walk. Most of you know me, and I've not always been a strong Christian. I spent much of my life as a lukewarm Christian. You don't have to be a perfect Christian to go on a missions trip. And that was kind of what held me back in past years. I always wanted to be this perfect Christian before I ever went down and tried to help someone else. And I learned a lot this trip, and that's definitely not where you have to be. All you have to do is believe in Jesus Christ wholeheartedly and be willing to share his love, and you will help more than you can imagine. One thing I learned down there was to be more open with my testimony and what God has done for me. I won't keep it to myself any longer. I'm going to share a couple of the times that God delivered me when I didn't deserve it, nor did I ask for it. At this period in my life, I had been medicaled out of the military during the first wave in Afghanistan. I angered easily and often. I'd grown away from my family and God. I was drinking more than I should. No matter what I did, I felt like something was missing. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was the brotherhood of the military, so I healed up and got back in, much to my wife's dismay. After I re-enlisted, only my wife and I knew about it. I wasn't looking forward to telling the rest of the family. 2 or 3 days after I re-enlisted, my sister called me. We hadn't spoken at least since Christmas, if not more than a year earlier. She was sobbing because she had a dream about her and I, and it seemed so real. We were in a desert, and I had died trying to protect her from a snake. Even without a strong faith, I took note of the symbology of this dream. I kept it in the back of my mind on every mission I went on over the next 5 years of military service, especially anywhere in the desert. At the end of my enlistment, my unit was slated to go to one of the worst parts of Afghanistan for a full year. I knew deep down that I shouldn't go, but to go overseas in the military, you have to choose between your military family and your family back home. I couldn't bail on my team that I had trained and served with for the last 5 years. First, I had been offered the next rank of sergeant from the state level and accepted it, but my unit screwed up and I didn't get it. Oh well, I'm still going. My enlistment ended during the deployment, so I signed another year of enlistment to be able to go. Next, the unit scattered my entire team because they said I had too much talent in it. So now I won't even be with the guys every day, or be with my guys every day, but I'm still going. Now at this point, there's only about 2 weeks worth of training days left, and they scattered my new team again because the soldiers were in different possessions in the books. Really? How can I train a new team, let alone figure out how to put in what positions for breaching buildings, convoy operations, turret gunner, dismounted operations, etc. in 2 weeks? Next, I was also the squad designated sniper, and now they want to put me in a Husky. Husky is a one-person vehicle at the front of a convoy used for detecting bombs and has no offensive capabilities. In a firefight, you just sit there and wait for the rest of the convoy to take care of the threat. How much sense does it make to take your best shot in the entire battalion and have him sit on his hands in a firefight? Not to mention disconnect him from his team and that he's supposed to be leading. At the time all this was going on, it was very frustrating. It took me a long time to realize that it was all a God thing. How many doors did he have to close before I finally said I wasn't going? So I finally decided not to go. My unit went over without me. 2 to 3 months into the deployment, my team leader position that I would have been in, Bravo team leader and the squad sergeant were all blown up on a dismounted mission. I would not be here today if I had gone. By God's grace, I am here. A person could try and say it was all a big coincidence or bad luck. But how do you account for my sister's dream just days after I had re-enlisted and her actually calling me about it during a time when we weren't even getting along? How many times has God saved every single one of us, but we fail to recognize it? So if you want to become a stronger Christian and do some good in the progress, try going on a missions trip and spread the love of Jesus Christ. Even after all that, it took another miracle of my family surviving a horrible car accident before I redevoted my life to Jesus Christ. I bought a brand new Dodge Avenger. I painted racing stripes on it, put rims on and sported it out. I liked the looks of it, but it drove and sounded terrible. It would break traction the second it hit ice. So I changed the tires, widened the wheelbase. The motor still made all sorts of noise when it started up on really cold mornings. I just wasn't happy with it. Normally I'm the type of person to buy exactly what I want the first time and keep it forever. But just after 11 months, I traded it in, took a loss on it, and bought a brand new Ford Explorer. It was a very nice vehicle. My wife hit a couple of little raccoons and broke loose the lower valance and intake. Again, I found myself unhappy with a perfectly good vehicle. So after just a little while, I said the heck with it, and again I took a loss and bought a new truck. Everyone thought I was crazy, me included. And a little while later, a thought came into my head that we should probably replace the kids' car seats due to their age. Originally intended to get them booster seats because they were both old enough and big enough that they weren't required to be in a full car seats anymore. We couldn't find any booster seats that we were happy with, but we did end up finding some nice full-size car seats that we bought for them. A few days before the accident, my dad woke up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night with the fear that he could lose one of his grandchildren. So the accident came to fruition. Both trucks were going about 65 miles per hour when we collided head-on, without either one of us having time to touch the brakes. We only saw each other for a split second. In the accident, we hit so hard that the factory hard shell tonneau cover broke off and came through the back window, and mangled the factory headrest and damaged both the kids' car seats as well, as wrapping around on Link's side and cutting his forehead. If they had been in booster seats, it would have hit the back of their heads rather than the car seats. If we had been in either of the other two vehicles, we wouldn't have stood a chance. If we weren't in that truck with those car seats, there would have been death. Human nature would drive a person, why wouldn't God just prevent the accident from happening rather than making it so we could survive it? We don't know the big picture, He does. Without this accident, I know I wouldn't be the Christian I am today. I hope we all didn't have to get hurt just to bring me closer to Jesus Christ. We can't even begin to try to understand why God delivers us from some tragedies and not others. All we can do is trust Him and remember that He does see the big picture. Heaven is the ultimate goal, not more time on earth. So that's my testimony that I've kept secret for a long time. I don't know why it's so hard for me to tell other people that. I could run face first into a firefight, no problem, but for me to walk over to my neighbor's house and share my testimony, I don't know why it's hard, but it is, and that's one area that I'm really growing in thanks to this, going on this trip, and Mark Patello guiding me. So I challenge any one of you, if it's God's laid on your heart, try a missions trip. It will help you as well as many other people. You have nothing to lose.